All right, recording on. Tyler, start to talk. Talk. All right, hopefully regionals were good. I think Jay had a state. Jay had a state like an hour before nationals. So I think he went and hosted, Indiana State. Um, Andy Fisher and all them up there. So hopefully regionals went well. Seems like people are close to the vest these days. I've already showed this deck like this before. A video has been posted of a similar deck. So did this forever ago. All I wanted to do was show the speed at which you need to play. And yes, I know it's a goldfish, so you can't fully get into the looking of the hand, but I want to show just how fast and speed equals misplays. So I think I'm more inclined to say I'd rather misplay and get a battle phase than skip my battle phase. So if you're worried about this offense, and this is crude, this is more of a glass cannon deck, but apparently there's some Widow decks running around. JD posted a video that he's been using in the Grand Prix. I believe he hasn't gone first every time, but he's gone first a very high percentage. This deck loves going first. I think this is a very, very good deck. Like this isn't modified. I'm not spending time on this because I'm not playing type 1 at Nats, but I think this can be modified to be better. And there's better, in my opinion, there should be better versions like the Lost Souls and all that. Just this deck isn't fully optimized. But I did want to show the deck that has been kind of floating around and that I kind of pushed a long time ago as well. And that a lot of talk has been talking about hyper aggro or aggro IJ and all that. So the rule 90 seconds, 30 seconds to do stuff, all that. Hold on. This is gonna make my video longer. All right, maybe I bought some time. Pretty much just let's go into it. Anything new? Maybe like Endurance of Job. I swapped out since they don't really have evil characters down. I'll put Sword of Spirit here. I do not think you need Matthew. I know everyone's Matthewing it up. I don't think you need it. I just think you need more ways to get to Widow. Hit their hand a couple times, apply constant pressure, win in 3 turns. 50 lockdown and go. Whoops, already here. New game. Yeah, so I'm not going to go over anything else. It's the same thing. I just want to show the speed at which you need to execute your deck and try to mitigate misplays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom, boom, boom. So just have it in your mind. I already need to be looking for my star abilities. Let's say they get to go first. And so we're just going to want to do one here. We don't need to just speed through everything. But we do want to, as soon as we start our turn and we go into upkeep, that's when we want to start hustling and bustling. Okay, so if they do anything, so then stars are done. And now we know if we use Lawless on ourselves that we're going to lose Emmaus Road. I don't really block well in this deck anyway, so I'd rather keep Emmaus Road and let them get one. Same with Hunter. Yes, I can go to Distressed, but if I get Emmaus Road, I can go to Spirit as a Dove to go to, I'm sorry, Solomon's Dream to go to Widow. And I can get some things going. So probably not going to use anything. If they go, I'll give them one. All right, we got to move fast. Discard animal enhancement, negate lost souls. If we don't want to use wander, then we can reveal this, and we do want to look at their hand. Pretty much want to go straight into what we already know. We can start putting down things, get the negates going, and we're going to want to go into a Solomon's Dream probably. So go into a Solomon's Dream and then play Iliad. This goes back in. We don't need to shuffle. You could let the opponent know that you don't need to shuffle because you're just going to re-go into it, and then we get a good card. We're going to go to Widow. And if you're taking way too long shuffling in real life, you might not want to do that either. We're going to want our Iliad for first turn attack. So we are going to bounce Iliad. We have one clay out. We do need to hit our shuffle. So if that's a shuffle, that should take you a matter of seconds of a quick boom, boom, hand movements really quick. If you're slow at shuffling, practice, get quicker. If you're not, don't play this deck. Look at their hand, underdeck something, and do this for 1, do it for 2. And before you do it again, you can't activate that. Being Daenerys, we're going to go 3, replace 1, and go into darkness, play Fallen Star. You need to know exactly what you're going to get out every time. We cannot play this. And if we delivered, we're going to deliver it into a New Covenant. We would look at their hand to see if we even need to do that. We get one more draw. We can do that. New Covenant, we could go into Teaching in Parables. New Covenant could go into Emmaus Road. So we could actually deliver. This goes back to our hand. Widow goes down. We delivered into, we could also Golden Calf to stop them. Or we could just leave up Book of Law knowing we're going to get a card from deck. So you need to make a decision and make it quick. And I can get out Jesse or Zerubbabel. Taking a quick look. We already did Life in the Sun, so I don't think I really need other stars right now. They get characters in opponents' territories. That's nice and all. I'd rather get the other draw too. So now I got Zerubbabel Iliad. And I don't need to play. I can just do a band. So I'd already look at their hand with for a sacrifice. If I knew there was another evil character there, or another card that I wanted to force them to discard through Iliad, like I could play Teaching in Parables, reserve an evil card from their hand, and now I could force them to discard the evil card that they have left in their hand, essentially. Want to get things rolling, we can play both at the same time. So we go Faith into a no, and we can leave him out. We don't need to bring him to hand for now. That gets shuffled in, and then we're going to search deck or reserve for a good New Testament enhancement. We're going to go back to Emmaus Road. We can show them Emmaus Road, bring it right back in, and go to a Jesse. Pretty happy here. We're good. Shuffle, discard, and I think we're good to go here, and we can pass turn. Very quick, in my opinion. That was quick. I feel like we can block. We didn't need to put anything else down. We got a D4, and we set down a Jesse and an Obed. We could probably play a Keem as well, but I just have Love Righteousness and stuff. And like I said, this isn't a modified version. All right, so now they can't. If they use a search ability, I hit them. The neutrals are negated, and their characters and territory are negated. I can block with Terrifying Beast, play Blasphemies, make them discard a card from hand, and get Blasphemies. And this would be turn 2, so I could go to my reserve and get out Blindness if it was there, or Red Dragon from deck. But I already, technically, I picked reserve because I showed you all. But in this case, I would just know to go straight to a Red Dragon. I don't really care so much about shuffling at that stage. I only care about how long it takes for me to shuffle and the upkeep. So our turn. Know to do stars first. Look at their hand. Do Virgin Birth. Reveal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pretty much draw everything. Let's just go to that, to Son of God. I probably would take Vain Philosophy here, but now that was a different 90 seconds. We're in draw. Or we did draw and then we're in upkeep because we did stars. When does that happen? Draw phase, upkeep, or soul abilities now. We will covet and swap over. So that's upkeep. I'm still not really worried about the length of time and upkeep because there's so little that happens. So while I'm in my upkeep, I have time. So I want to make sure during upkeep, and you can say, hey, I'm still in upkeep. I haven't moved to prep yet. That you're thinking of what you're going to do in the prep. So take that time and upkeep and then be like, all right, I'm going to prep. If they're going to put you on timer, like if your opponent, you're playing Widow, whatever, let it be known, hey, I'm not in prep yet. And then as soon as you start prep, already know what you're doing. You already have a plan. So I'm already thinking like, what do I need to active? I have 16 cards left in deck. I don't need Denarius. What do I need to get for my reserve? All that. Now that doesn't mean you just sit there and you say, I'm in upkeep the whole time. No, you finish your abilities and then you immediately go to prep. Just try to think while maybe you're using a covet. I don't really care about what soul I'm getting per se. I mean, obviously, yeah, there's souls I'm looking for, but I'm more so inclined at, or more so focused on what am I going to do in my prep. So always think about that. All right. So then it is time. What do we want to do? Go to an Emmaus Road, plumb line, Emmaus Road goes back, and we let the opponent know we don't need to shuffle. Oh yeah, well, we gotta shuffle Emmaus Road. Do a super quick Emmaus Road, plumb line hits. We top deck a good card. Boom, boom. We do play Virgin Birth. We want to go into, I mean, it could be Jehu or Jotham. This case, I'd probably get Jotham, to be honest. We want to draw, so I would put down Noah, and now I have 1-2. I don't really need to draw much. I don't really even need to draw 2. 4 would have been fine. I just wanted to get the Coming Prince, and then you show Widow, put that back. You're probably going to play Son of God. We're going to move kind of fast. Coming Prince. Just depends on what you want here. Do you want to underdeck something or reserve it? Depends on what characters they have. So just make the decision quick. If you're not sure, just grab one. And play Life in the Sun, draw 2, and we're going to play Teaching in Parables. Life in the Sun comes back. We're going to play Lord's Prayer, and I don't think there's anything over here to get, so it just shuffles back. And if it's a quick, do a quick shuffle. Draw 2, Hopper goes over. This deck would need more Soul Gen. We don't need to use Lord's Prayer. We can go into an Emmaus Road, actually. So yeah, Lord's Prayer, Emmaus, go back. We drop Emmaus, it goes back. And we say we're going to use Love Righteousness as well. Love Righteousness into Facile. That's discarded. Facile, and we also have an Emmaus Road trigger. Just drop down Jonah. Let the opponent, what you're doing, finish your abilities first. Before playing another, just have everything ready. Go back to deck, get out Fifth Seal to where we can go I'm already taking too long. Spirit as a dove, and just play Judas. We have one more. Draw 2. That goes to hand. Wages of Sin. I'm gonna go to reserve. Play Did God Really Say? Discard a card from their stuff, from their reserve. And now we should be good to go here. We have a Ride On and Emmaus Road. Shuffle. I believe that was the last one. Oh, nothing in there. I already got Jotham. Turnover. Don't need that. I want to make sure real quick that I have enough Meek Heroes for impartial. 1, 2, 3. That'll be 4. So we are going to, instead of Golden Calf, and I might already be out of time, you know. Turnover, bounce Elliott, Jotham, flip, grab, show them impartial, and just immediately drop right on. Keep impartial out there. Their hand should be gone, at least from an evil perspective. They can't block. And then you're good. There's nothing else you want to do. That's what I'm saying. You just want to move, even though that was sloppy. It's going to look sloppy in order to get your entire turn. You need to move quick. You need to know what you're doing. If you're playing Widow, if you just sit there and think and you take a while, you're going to be irritated when you have to miss a battle phase. Like, that's going to be hard to enforce. I'm going to be judging on Friday. I used to play defensive heavy, and I have been the negative beneficiary of people sitting and thinking and literally saying they're just going to time out. I missed top cut with a defensive heavy deck. My opponent tried to scoop, and I said, nah, that's fine. Let's just play it through. Because I obliterated his offense the first 2 turns. He had nothing else. He tried to scoop, and then he said, well, I'm just going to stall you. He said, legally stall you. That already irritates me. Like, that's, in my opinion, not the culture that we should be creating. So if you're losing, just be a humble loser and be a humble winner. So if you lose, you lose. But as for legally stalling or putting, let's just say, me in the position to make the ruling that, hey, you have to skip your battle phase, that I'm not the bad guy there. Sorry. What happened was you were not prepped adequately and you did not either practice enough. If you are playing any sort of Widow variant, if this card and this card is in your deck, these 2 cards, then you need to be practicing out like the utmost perfection, execution, and speed. You need to be dropping and knowing exactly what you're doing, because what happens, it's the first round. Okay, some of the Widow decks win. Cool, got it. Move to the second round. Some of those Widow decks start playing. I don't guarantee 9 rounds, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have 9 rounds. What I guarantee is that by round 3 or 4, we're going to start getting a lot of people on the clock. The first 2 rounds, okay. But once people start losing to this, and if it's all over the place, before the game starts, as soon as someone sees, like, if I sit down in my opponent and I start seeing cards like this, then I'm gonna say, hey, like, I'm getting you on the clock. So then it goes into, well, how do you do that? You physically count. I don't care if it's out loud. Don't be obnoxious about it. But I did want to take this video. I was way too busy to do anything last week, sorry. But I did want to take the time to talk about the speed of the game, in essence, to the current meta. Like, that rule has been in the host guide for years. I know, because I was doing my best to enforce it on other people, and other people got irritated with me when I was playing type 1 a few years ago and a defensive heavy, because they would just sit there. And then I would let them know, if it's been 90 seconds, you actually skip your battle phase. And people would be like, really? That's how you're playing? No, that's how you're playing. Like, so been rambling on enough. I just don't want to predict the future where people are irritated because I come over and I said, it's been 90 seconds, you have to miss your battle phase. And then it's going to be even more irritating when you sit there at the very end of your turn and you're doing more stuff, and now your hand is at 10, 11, and it's been 90 seconds. And then your opponent gets to discard cards at random from your hand, or I would just say you shuffle your hand, discard whatever it is. Anything over 8, shuffle your hand, discard. That is not fun. I do not want to judge that way. So if you are playing Widow, I'm going to be honest, you're already at an advantage. So make sure you are playing it right. Make sure you're doing everything you can as fast as you can. And also, if you aren't, maybe think about what you're going to play before nationals. We still got 2 weeks. Think about what you're going to play beforehand. If you can't get this down, time yourself, practice correctly, and see what you can do there. Because I only ran through 2 turns. I like going Wages of Sin. I usually grab this with a Sword of the Spirit with Plumb Line or Book of the Law, but I'm just going off tangent here. So many people playing orange and multi-brigade stuff, and it's a set aside with Sheol making a vengeance back. I don't like using Shipwreck. I like cards that can be Shipwreck. So I found so many times that Jehu's Sword. Oh wait, that's not OT. Okay, forget what I said. Put an Old Testament enhancement on them. I just found so many times Jehu's Sword that I got rid of their defense in territory. And so it's not an optional. Jehu's Sword is a discard an evil human. So the only thing is that could still go in here, and I discard my Nero, and that gives me Fallen Star Unity back. In worst case, I discard my Foreign Wives. And then that's it. So Jehu's Sword can go in here, but I told you I just threw this one together. I still think Mist is seeing a lot of play. This is not seeing a lot of play. It's really good. Right now, if you can squeeze Job in there on like a Virgin Birth, and you pop Job down and then hit him with Endurance of Job, they got a lot of brigades. Like just right here, instead of a 1, it's a 2. So really good card for this whole hand control that's happening. If you're wondering how to stop hand control, rush through Storehouse. Like have numerous ways to get the Storehouse. Top decking a fortress from deck. And then all the, Reverence and Awe, Covenant with David, stuff like that. And then you can have multiple ways to get the Covenant with David. So, and there's multiple ways to get to a good New Testament enhancement. So make sure you can get the Storehouse, 1. 2, I just threw these All Souls in. Make sure you can awake and escape into crowds, because if you're not seeing Widow, you're going to see Matthew, and you might see both. I think you're going to have a lot of hand control. This guy, Domitian, I do think Sarah Mary, Vain Philosophy. So if you're really worried about hand control, and you should be, then rush to Storehouse and awake, escape in crowds. You could even play with star cards that play a Lost Soul. And then that way you could play crowds. So if we turn filters off, let's get you out of here though before I forget. Type would be, let's see, brigade pertains star, brigade, or then ability, brigade, ability. So here you go. Those are your play, mostly those are your play lost souls from deck that are stars. Not the best search, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's stuff there. To play a lost soul from deck if you want. I'm just giving you options to throw down crowds. And then you have other ways to get the heroes as well. So there's heroes that protect your hand. And then there's neutrals as well. You'll say, oh, well, they're just going to negate all that. Yeah, but if you give them more options to negate, it's more layers they have to peel back that they have to respond to. So I would focus on hand protection. And you say, well, if I have hand protection, then entrapping Pharisees and stuff like that become an auto block. Well, I'd rather the opponent have an auto block and me still have a hand, because I can play around the auto block. I can't play around not having a hand. So what did we learn today? Probably nothing. But if you are playing these two cards, Widow, Life in the Sun, then know what you are doing. Because playing Widow, Life in the Sun alone for 4 times, just the human aspect of drawing and looking, that alone is going to take you probably over 30 seconds. So, you know how people play like speed chess? Yeah, play speed redemption. Like, just start putting down everything. And then look at your deck as well. If you have a lot of cards that search, just have a priority list in your head. What do I need first? And then if it comes down to, oh, well, I'm not sure, I got to think, just do it. Whatever feels right, just do it. And if you're going up against Widow, Life in the Sun, then manually count. As soon as they start, just be like, all right, your prep phase. And don't be obnoxious. Just be like, hey, I'm going to count like slightly Mississippi. I don't know. I don't want a bunch of people doing that, to be honest, but I'll talk to the elder team and see what's the best way. Be like, am I just counting in my head? Because what if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, what's the agreement here? I don't know. We'll give more information on that, but can I just lightly count? Because if someone's counting, then that messes me up, but they're allowed to do it. They're counting Mississippi. I don't know. We'll see. I'm rambling, but if you're going up against this, do a count, know what they're doing. Be like, hey, you're approaching 90 seconds. And don't just be like, all right, that's it, you missed battle phase. Well, no, like, it's not a black and white line. Call the judge over. So I think we're going to be busy on Friday. So, and then know what you're doing. Play this quick if you're playing it. If you're playing against it, know the time limits and know what you're going to do. If you have hand protection, you need to have soul gen no matter what. People lose because of soul gen with this deck, and people lose in general without having soul gen. And then protect your hand. Look at anything that protects your hand. How can I incorporate this? Can I get it out quick? You can't get out. I would rather you take out a few cards of your deck that makes your deck what you think stronger to have hand protection. Have a ton of hand protection and go from there. So that's all. It's supposed to be a quick video, but I rambled on about 2 cards. So it should be good to go though. Hopefully you can take something away, start practicing very quickly, put yourself on a clock. Like, have your phone out, put yourself on a clock. And that is all. I will talk to you again next week.